Hi, this is Mark Argis. Welcome to this year's edition of the Owatonna Wrestling Show. Again, you can find the Owatonna Wrestling Show on local cables, channel 8 and 20, OwatonnaWrestling.com on the internet, and Facebook, search Owatonna Wrestling. You'll find Youth First YouTube clips out there on the Facebook page and our new intro video. We're just excited for the new season. We want to thank our wrestling sponsors this year: Alexander Lumber, Coles Electric, Federated Insurance, Hy-Vee, Jostens, the Colonel Restaurant, Lindgren Photo and Frame, Owatonna Chiropractic Association, Pizza Ranch, Prairie Ridge Orthodontics, Owatonna Bus Cavalier Coaches, Stoics Plumbing, Sign Pro, Stockwell Accounting, Triumph Graphics, and Truth Hardware. And we want to thank them again for all their support of the Owatonna Wrestling Program and the Wrestling Show. And again, my name is Mark Argis. We want to start out this year on a little preseason clip talking with Coach Casteel and just learn about kind of where we're at. So how are we doing, Coach?
Good.
All right, good to be here in the room, and it's a little nice atmosphere after practice tonight.
It's so much fun to get back in here.
You've been biting at the bullet, haven't you?
It's fun.
Cool. Well, tell us a little bit about tell us about the off season. How'd the off season go?
Well, we've had a really busy off season. You know, we started right away. After our state tournament last year, many of the athletes were wrestling in March, doing a little freestyle and Greco-Roman wrestling. For those that weren't involved in a spring sport, just staying busy and active on the wrestling mat. And we also, in April, we started a spring strength training program where kids were in the weight room right up here, 4 days a week, from basically April until wrestling started. We went to all spring, summer, and fall. So we've had a busy off season in the weight room, and then also this fall, we had the University of Minnesota that came down, Grit Wrestling. Jay Robinson and the University of Minnesota staff and some athletes came down and ran practices on Monday night. So, it was a great opportunity for Owatonna to kind of wrangle him and his staff and wrestlers to come down. That's the number one, for people that really don't know a lot about wrestling or follow college wrestling, they're the number one ranked team in the country right now. Yeah. And traditionally over the last several years, they've been, one of the best teams in the country, top 5.
So we had a lot of kids down, but you also had kids from around the area too.
Right, absolutely. This summer we had camp, and we had some of our old alumni came back. We had kids from Richland and kids from Austin that came up for Grit Wrestling, and it opened it up to the entire wrestling community kind of within this area. So great for Owatonna, our wrestlers, and for our community, and it's a win-win situation with that.
Well, I know you're excited about the season coming up, and had some changes, not really changes, but a lot of additions to the coaching staff. So you got a lot of new faces or people that maybe have been around the program that are back around now. So talk about that a little bit. Who's helping out at the high school this year?
Well, we do have a lot of old faces and some new faces. Obviously, Scott Sikora, who's a graduate from here and has worked with Coach Davis for many, many, many years. He's back. Lance Hendrickson, who works at Federated, he runs our 9th grade program. Ben Wilson, who's also a graduate from here, been around for the last few years, is back at the high school. We have an intern from the hospital who has some wrestling coaching experience, who's here a couple days a week. I have Matt Kretlow, who's been involved with the wrestling program for quite some time. Matt Rich, who's a former alum, is coming in to volunteer. Scott Cave, a former Augsburg alum who wrestled with me up there, who's been working and coaching up in the Apple Valley District for the last, 7 or 8 years. He's here at the high school with us. And then there's a couple of newer guys. One is Heath Wilson. We're hoping to get him up here in our room, when he can make it. He's currently a student teaching at Kinley. And then there are 2 federated marketing trainees, both former Division I wrestlers, Craig Shudich and Vince Ditano, who both of those guys are working at Federated. We're hoping those guys can pop in when they have a chance.
So that's awesome. Sounds like a big range of sizes and experience and all that fun stuff, right?
Yeah, it's very exciting. And I think that with so many athletes, I think we have 46 kids signed up for wrestling right now. We need to have a lot of coaches in there.
Cool. So how are things looking as far as bodies in the room? Because right now, one big thing that's going on, of course, and it's exciting, is the football teams in the state finals.
Yeah. Well,
how many guys are wrestling that are been playing football?
Well, we have, I think, anywhere between, I'm hoping there's 10.
Okay.
I keep going back and counting because there's a couple guys on that team that I'm like, man, he really needs to come back. for us. He needs to come wrestle.
Right.
So, I'm hoping we have 10 guys that are there. But the thing is we don't have a single body in this room the last 3 days that weighs over 200 pounds. So, and that's one of the things, coming into Owatonna, that I was really hoping for is that, to have that connection with the other sports, and especially with football, because there's so many transferable skills. Those football players can get here on this wrestling mat. What they know about football and leverage is going to help them here. What those kids can learn from wrestling, about leverage and just being strong and moving your feet and your hands, that's going to help them become a better football player. So to see that we have 0 guys right now in this room that are over 200 pounds, that, kind of scares me a little bit. Just because, we know we need those guys. We need to have them in our room, to fill those upper weight classes. And I'm real excited to get them back, but at the same time, I can't tell you how more excited I am for them to have that opportunity to play in a state championship football game.
Yeah, what an awesome experience.
What a great experience. And something that they'll be able to tell their kids about for the next 30, 40, whatever years it is. I mean, it's just amazing.
So once you get back to full strength, we'll say, who are the guys to watch for this season?
Athletes that we have?
Yeah.
Well, we return a ton of guys. 2 returning state qualifiers in Spencer and Brandon Mullen, Spencer Sorensen. We might as well throw Bowen Schultz in there. He's been to a couple state tournaments himself individually and also as a team. He's been up here for a long time. And we have a lot of just returning starters. Justin Flores.
Tyler Vogt.
Yeah, Tyler Vogt. Tyler Sorensen had some experience in there. Chad Wilker, Kylie Caff. And then there's a lot of guys that were right there on the cusp. And Tyler Sorensen did wrestle some varsity last year. Brendan Barishka had wrestled a lot of varsity. Chandler Bauer, who ended up getting hurt.
Yeah, back.
Yeah, and Ian Dunn, who's a senior today, I thought looked great at practice. There's a lot of guys that could really spark our team this year. So we're really looking forward to see who those individuals are that are going to step up. And it's fun because I'm starting to see it in this room happen, which it's exciting for me as a coach because if it's happening here, I think it's going to transfer into a competitive setting. Because this room's usually pretty tough. I mean, we practice pretty intense, and that's what we ask. We ask a lot of kids, and if they're doing it here and they can transfer that, apply those skills outside of this room, that's when it gets really fun as a coach because they're learning. They're learning what you're teaching, and that's when it's a blast.
Cool. Well, I don't want to spend a lot of time on rankings or any of that kind of stuff because it's so early, and obviously there's going to be some changes in your lineup from the start. Because when's the first meet?
Our first meet is Friday, November 30th. Yep, we go to Simley and we wrestle. Actually, our very first match will take place at I believe 7:30. We're going to wrestle Kimball, and they were state runner-up last year in single A. They're a very tough team. Super tough team. They have probably 7 or 8 guys ranked in the top 10 in state. And the other, at 9:30, I think we wrestle Simley, who's the returning state champs, I think 4 or 5 years in a row. And they have, I think, 4, maybe 5 Division I wrestlers in their lineup right now. They're a tough team. To me, it's kind of like the Huskies going up having this great experience playing football in the state tournament. This is a great experience for us. Have an opportunity to wrestle a couple of the best teams in the state. And I'm excited about it. Win or lose, we're going to learn something from the experience. And that's what it's all about. Early in the season, you don't win championships on November 30th.
Right.
It just doesn't happen. But it's a great opportunity for us to learn.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, sounds good. Looking forward to the season. I think we got enough to kind of kick things off. You got any final message? I know we're not having a showcase this year just because of the football game and all those kind of things, but if you had one quick last thing to say to the fans, get them all ready for the season, what would that be?
Well, I'd like to say, first of all, best of luck to our football family wrestlers that are playing on Saturday. Like I said, great opportunity, and we hope that people can get out and watch us and support us throughout the season.
Awesome. Thanks, Bill.
All right, thanks.
All right, hey, that's good for the intro version of the Owatonna Wrestling Show. Looking forward to the 2012-2013 season. We'll see you next time.